As you can see here, the crystal does not do much damage. However, when I'm a block higher, it does a lot of damage. Also, when you block off anchors, it doesn't do much damage as well. This is because explosions only damage your legs. When I don't block the anchor, it does a lot more health. There are a lot more positions that you should be wary about, like these. By utilizing this knowledge, we can do things like this. If you look at my hunger bar, some of my bars of hungers have a red outline on it. This is saturation. Saturation acts as an extra bar of health as you regenerate. As you can see here, if I don't have saturation, I don't regenerate. Saturation also protects you from low amounts of damage. As you can see here, I can pile through crystals. However, when I stand further away, it blows up. This is because when you throw a projectile in an entity's hitbox, it goes through it. However, if you throw a projectile outside the hitbox, it interacts with it. As you can see here, I don't take any knockback on crystal. But when I switch to only one bit of blast protection, I take a little bit more knockback. And without any blast protection, I take a lot more knockback. This is because the level of blast protection can reduce explosion knockback by 15%, and this can stack to over 100%. During whole fights, if you're low and on fire, try to jump. As you can see here, I break 4 crystals but only take damage from 2. This is because of ticks, and they last half a second. During a tick, your skin turns red, and you can't take damage or knockback from a different source unless the source is much greater than the first one. Some people use red skins to hide ticks, as ticks stop knockback, which stops hit crystals. The red skin might make people mistime their hits. We can use ticks to our advantage, as we can use pearls to get a tick to not take knockback. This is called pearl flashing. When hit crystal, if you don't sprint it, it doesn't do enough knockback. To fix this problem, we can use knockback 1 so sweeps do enough knockback. However, knockback 2 is too far, but it is still playable, so if you get on a sword accidentally, it's not the end of the world. To get started crystalling, you can place the crystals and obsidian before attacking. After you're comfortable with that, only place the obsidian first. This is called pre-placing. When you're confident with that, attack the opponent first, then crystal. After that, there's double tapping, which should only be done if the opponent has 1 layer of blast prop. To perform a D-tap, you have to hit, crystal, wait, crystal. Slow falling helps, as it makes the opponent stay in the air for longer. If you do pull off a successful D-tap, and if they're in the air, try to place more crystals so you can get more pops. If your opponent is low, try to pop them with your sword and then crystal. This is very difficult to survive. If you're far away or have health advantage or below them, you can spam crystals to get easy pop. However, this does use a lot of crystals. If you're getting crystals, you can jump to try to avoid it. When safe anchoring, you want to block up with glowstone as it breaks when exploded. Obsidian doesn't, and that makes it hard to maneuver. If there's not enough space, you should try to pearl to get more space. Here anchoring is used when the opponent digs a hole. This will open it up and also do damage. Air placing occurs when you place and break a block in the same tick. You can chain them to rapidly change the surroundings. When toteming, you should wait in the inventory to totem, as it gives you much more reaction time than closing and reopening your inventory. This will help prevent chains and combos. Ghosting occurs when you switch to your totem, but Minecraft doesn't register it. To stop it, you have to totem faster. Ledge dashing is when you pearl to the bottom of the hole from an anchor. If your opponent ledge dashes, you can place an anchor to counter them. If both of you ledge dash and look above the obsidian, hit them and crystal them to do a D-tap. Invisibility hides your name tag. Speed will increase your mobility and make it easier to crystal. Weakness prevents you from breaking crystals, as you do 1 damage and weakness reduces it by 4, leading to negative damage. To stop this, you can break the crystal with a weapon. You can counter this by using strength, however strength 1 isn't enough, as strength 1 only leads to +3 damage and you're still in the negatives. Slow fall suspends you in the air for longer. This means it's easy to crystal. Slow fall is also very useful for ledge dashing, as it makes the opponent take longer to fall to the bottom. Regeneration is very useful for hull fights, as it can make the difference between a totem pop when standing on fire or crystalline. Slowness is used to immobilize your opponent. It also works really well with anchors, as if they try to pearl, you can anchor them. Elytras are used to fly to the opponent quickly and under the crystals not to take damage. Elytras can be countered also by placing an anchor. Elytras can be used to fake and waste their opponent's resources. Crossbows are useful because you can release the arrows at any time at full speed instantly. However, if you're going to use them, try to use piercing as it can go through shields. Bows are used because they have punch and it can be used to knock the enemy really far away. It's complemented with slowness arrows and also anchors. The pickaxe can be used to protect yourself from crystals. Also, it can be used to explode anchors without taking much damage. Another use is to dig a hole and hide there, or you can place an anchor and create an opening. If you're quick, you can counter this by placing an anchor over their head. Or to defend it, you can place obsidian. Axes are used to disable shield. Another way to counter them is placing anchors behind them. Shields are used to block damage. You can also have an extra totem. This is how far a normal pearl gets you. This is how far a pearl with a jump gets you. This is how far a pearl boosted by a crystal gets you. This is how far a pearl with elytras momentum gets you. If you have the Minecraft default FOV, I recommend changing it, as you can see more. I recommend changing these settings. Turn off distortion and FOV effects. Turn off view bobbing. For some, it might be helpful to turn chat off. I also recommend to turn off a lot of particles. Here's a list of my mods. If you want to copy some of them, you can. This is an ideal inventory layout. Try to have your most swapped items at the top. This is because when you open your inventory, your cursor is naturally there. This is a list of a few texture packs I use.